Hello guys, welcome back to my Football Manager 2019 experiment. So basically, if you haven't watched the first part, this is actually I have converted 12 Wonder Kids into Malaysian nationality. If you haven't watched the first part, kindly please have so because you will need to know what happened to Malaysian national team in the first 5 years. So for this part, we already jumped to the next 5 years. Let's see what the Malaysian side has done in the year 2023. So, as we resume in this part 2, we started off in the year 2023. As you can see, Malaysian national side has won all games in this year, and most notably, we participate in Asian Cup. So we have won against Japan 3-0. Pietro Pellegrini has scored the hat-trick. Won against India, another 3-0. Pietro Pellegrini again, and Leon Bailey before beating off Brunei 4-0. Pietro Pellegrini scoring every game in the group stage. In the second round, we beat off Vietnam 3-0, and guess what? Pietro Pellegrini has scored again. In the quarterfinal, we beat off Kyrgyzstan 5-0, so we haven't seen Pietro Pellegrini in the score sheet. While in the semifinal, we beat Qatar 4-0. Pietro Pellegrini has back in the scoring sheet. While in the final, we managed to beat South Korea 2-1. Oh, that was a close one, as Ezequiel Palacios was sent off in the 63rd minute. And there is a mini revival by South Korea by then, but the team managed to hold on to win the first Asian Cup ever. So I think this is a very, very good moment for the national side. They have won against Cambodia in a friendly match, and we participate in the World Cup qualifying. So this is another road to World Cup for Malaysian national side. So as you can see, they've won all the games. They even won against Slovenia 4-1 away. So I think our Wonder Kids has become stronger. Most of them are in their peak. So let's move on to the year 2024. They started off by beating Vietnam 4-0, and then a good friendly win against Tunisia and the Philippines. This is the next stage where the World Cup qualifying in Asia has taken place. They beat off South Korea, Taiwan, Saudi Arabia, Syria, Japan, and then beat Indonesia. While doing so, they have an friendly game against the USA where they won 2-0. In the Southeast Asian Championship, I think the last time we played this tournament, we lost in the group stage. So in the first game, Thailand we drew 1-1 and then won against Indonesia, Vietnam, and Philippines. So Malaysia did manage to go through to the semi-final. Remember, this tournament, the Wonder Kids are not playing because they are not home base. So basically, in this tournament, only players playing in domestic league or I think in any Asian teams can only play for this tournament. So I think because most of our Wonder Kids are playing away from Malaysia now, so they are not participating in this game. Nevertheless, the national side has won in the semi-final. Alex Kahar scored. Then in the final, in the first leg, we lost against the Philippines in the 84th minute, while in the second leg, we beat off them 3-1, narrowly won an aggregate of 3-2. Alex Kahar scored again. So, without the Wonder Kid, the Malaysian national team has won the Southeast Asian Championship. How cool is that? So let's move on to 2025, the third year in this second part. So we're still playing in the World Cup qualifying in the final stage where we beat South Korea and Saudi Arabia both 3 nils before I think completing, no, not yet completing, just beating Syria 4 nil. And Malaysia, since they won the Asian Cup, Malaysia will be chosen to represent Asia in Confederation Cup. So this is a they call the mini World Cup a year before the World Cup will happen. So in the group stage, in the group B, we started off by playing France and lost against these two and actual wonderkids also. I think now probably the best players in the world, Kylian Mbappe and Anthony Martial scored against us. So and then the next game we beat Canada, the representative of North America, 4-0. And then we beat off the South America representative Brazil. The last time we played against Brazil was in the World Cup where we drew 1-1. This time we showed them that we are stronger than them. While in the semi-final we beat USA. I think USA is the representative of the host country who will be hosting the World Cup in 2026. Unfortunately, in final, we lost 4-0 to France. I think France national team is too good for us to play against at this moment. Nevertheless, this is a very good lesson for our team to play in the Confederation Cup. And then we continue in September by playing Indonesia and Japan to qualify for the World Cup next year. As of the later of that year, in October and November, we played 4 friendly games and won all of them against Australia, China, Egypt, and Iran. So, in 2026, there will be the World Cup. What will happen in the team? Let's have a look. So we started off friendly against Albania, 2-all draw, a loss against Germany, and another draw against Chile. So our friendly games, our World Cup warm-up doesn't go as well because we didn't won any of the games. But during the World Cup, we won 3-0 against Peru, Husam Our and Vinicius Junior. Again, he's scoring in the World Cup. I think he's the World Cup specialist for our team. And then in the same group, we played France, who beaten us twice last year in the Confederation Cup. We beat them 2-1. Ezequiel Palacios is the guy who became the hero for this team. This makes us proceed to the second round. So in the second round, we narrowly beat Greece on penalty 4-2. And then we moved to the third round where we beat Czech Republic. Pietro Pellegrini scored the winning goal because this guy has scored an own goal in the second minute. So Malaysia has proceeded to quarterfinal. The quarterfinal we beat Colombia. Pietro Pellegrini, our hero, scored a hat-trick against Colombia. And then in the semi-final we beat Italy 4-2. Pietro Pellegrini again against his born country where he was born, and Husam Our scored 1 goal to make a sweet victory against Italy and to make Malaysia the first team in Asia to come to the final of the World Cup. But it never happened to be as we just lost narrowly in the penalty shootout against Portugal. So Husam Aouar has missed the penalty and Eder Militao also missed the penalty to give Portugal, I think, also their first World Cup title. Nevertheless, it is so close. We almost won the World Cup. I hope in the next World Cup maybe we can win this time, hopefully. And then we continue again in the Southeast Asian Championship, and as I can see, it's all win. Malaysian side has done really brilliantly in this tournament without the wonderkids, and they did not even concede a goal. Even the backups were as good as the wonderkids. So in the final year of this part, Malaysia has joined again in the Asian Cup. They started off by beating North Korea 4-0 before beating Japan 2-0. Sheikh Safari and Sandro Tonali scored. Let me see. Pietro Pellegrini and Hosam Aouar scored in the first game. Against Uzbekistan, Hosam Aouar and Pietro Pellegrini scored to win 2-0 against Uzbekistan. Against Saudi Arabia, we won 3-0. Hosam Aouar with a hat-trick. In the quarterfinal, we won 1-0 against Iran. Hosam Aouar again, he had a very good tournament. While in the semi-final, we beat South Korea again 2-1. We beat South Korea in the last tournament in the final 2-1 also, as I remember. So Pietro Pellegrini and Leon Bailey scored this time around. In the final, we beat China 2-1. Pietro Pellegrini became the hero of this national team by scoring twice in the final. Wu's effort is too late to save the Chinese in this Asian Cup final. So that means Malaysia has won this tournament twice in this experiment. Yep. So we won in 2023 and then we won again in 2027. So the next tournament will be in 2031. So can we make it 3 in a row? We'll just have gonna see in the next 5 years what's gonna happen. So finishing off the year, we are going to play in the World Cup qualifying again. Another road to World Cup. So we won against Vietnam 9-0. I think this is our biggest victory in the 10 years of this experiment. So finally, after the 10th year, we won 9-0. And then, yeah, we won the other games in this competition. So in this qualifying, it hasn't been finished yet. We have one more game to play, but we are already qualified to the final round of World Cup Asian qualifying section. So let's have a look at the national team to have a look to our wonder kids, see the updates for every one of them. So now Alban Lafont is still playing for Fiorentina. Filip Benkovic is now playing for Shanghai. I think previously he was playing for Dynamo Kiev. Eder Militao still playing for Guangzhou. He's now having 111 caps to his name. Most of them are now around 100 caps. There Godalot is now playing for Paris Saint-Germain. He was in Barcelona previously in the first part. He's now worth 74 millions. Gianluca Iter is now at Stuttgart. Sandro Tonali is still playing for Borussia Dortmund, while Hosam Aouar has moved to Arsenal. He's currently worth 79 million. He's much more expensive than Leon Bailey before. Ezequiel Palacios, currently injured, is now playing for Ajax. Is now worth 25 millions. If you remember, 5 years ago he played for FC Karabakh. He only worth like 1.1 million. And then Leon Bailey is now playing for Real Madrid. His price dropped to 51 million. Vinicius Junior is playing for Borussia Dortmund. He's worth 71 million. And Pietro Pellegrini is now worth 77 million, and he is still playing for Real Betis. Unfortunately, Fabio Silva is no longer here, and there is another one player, one cousin, is also no longer available in this experiment. They have retired early, while Dion Coles is playing for Tianjin. As of the world ranking, Malaysia has now jumped into the 8th place. I think that is their, yes, this is the highest ever ranking the Malaysian national side has achieved. I have never expected we to come into the top 10. So in the next World Cup, I will assume our side will be one of the favorite to win the World Cup. So I think myself can't wait also for the next part where we will jump to another 5 years. So we shall see whether the Malaysian side can already win the World Cup. So guys, stay tuned for the next part, or probably the final part of this experiment. See you soon.